Hello everybody, this is Yana here once again, and I have another figure to review. Oh boy, this one is finally something that I'm doing for my own volition, so that's great. But in any case, here is the figure in question. I got this guy used, so there's no tag, but it's Antimatter from Ultraman Gaia. And that's the incomplete package over there because I don't have the complete package. In any case, I really like this character's design in the show, and I was pleased to find out that they actually made a figure of him. And I was also pleased to find out that this figure is actually half decent. So, without any ado, let's take a look at it. You can see the intelligence in its eyes. Antimatter is not one to be trifled with. And in any case, this is actually a really well done figure for 1998, where we had really awful figures like the 1998 version of Recubus. But in any case, this is Antimatter, and you have these haunting blue eyes up here. Now, the surroundings could be a little darker. They should have colored in the surrounding areas of the eyes black, or at least a really dark blue, instead of just leaving it the pure vinyl color, which is not very dark at all. Because then it would have a little more of a contrast as seen in the show. But in any case, the sculpt work on this thing is actually quite magnificent. All of the little details on the inside of Antimatter have been captured. All these little scales, and the scales have fold marks on them, reminiscent of the actual rubber suit in the show. The center spike ball is obviously the highlight of this entire sculpt, mainly because it is just really well done for what it is. The rest of the body looks great, and the backside is also well detailed, other than the obvious gash in the middle of the body. But in any case, the sculpt looks great, and the paint job actually is matchingly good. Now, this is a sprayed figure, just like every other monster in the Ultra Monster series or any other figure that Bandai has produced in general. But it's actually really sharp, with some exceptions down here, and some paint overspill on the bottom of on the sides of the feet, as well as the big massive overspill on the back. The paint job is actually 100% accurate, with the exception of being a little bit light for the actual colors, for the actual color tones. But in any case, it looks extremely accurate. It is really accurate for the time, and overall it just looks great. The metallic blue on the centerpiece is actually a nice highlight, although in the actual show it was a glowing object, so it was kind of like the eyes in the case, where it was really glowing brightly. But in any case, it looks good for what it is. Zooming back out, we can take a look at the articulation on this toy, and it doesn't really exist. It's just the front orb over here, and it's a really stiff joint. Not because of the vinyl it's not because the vinyl is hard, because it really isn't, but the problem is just that it's at an angle. It's at a very slight angle, so, and the sculpt cut of the sides here, because they pop up a little bit, they kind of interfere with the actual rotation of the ball. Other than that, although this main body here is a joint, it is connected. It has a bulb sticking out that's connected into the bottom of this thing, so you can't really take this thing apart until you take this thing off. And even if you did take it apart, what's the point? Because the rest of this figure is pretty much hard vinyl. So yeah, very lackluster articulation, but then again, what did you expect? At least this thing isn't a statue, but hey, being a statue could have its own upsides too. In any case, let's get on with some size comparisons. First of all, let's try your very standard Bandai monster figure, Bandai Ultra Kaiju. So let's try Monster, which looks awful next to him, because if you haven't realized already, Antimatter is very much undersized. Since it's supposed to be the size of two people, they obviously had to shrink it a lot to fit it into the 6-inch line, and because of that, it's really one of the smallest figures in the library. Here's another kind of half-man sized kaiju. We have Mizuno Enoryu, who is supposed to be huge in the show, but unfortunately here does not look very impressive. However, because of the undersized nature of this figure, it scales up very well with other undersized kaiju. For example, Super COV. And yes, this is a new Super COV, which I'm going to be uploading the unboxing for very soon. I got this from Goji73. Thank you very much. And just in case you guys don't get it, here is the original Super COV that I had repainted, or I repainted to look more accurate. But yeah, Antimatter scales up very well with the Super COVs actually. Antimatter was a huge kaiju in the show, and it was quite the threat to be beheld. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check Ultra Series Wiki. That's right, Ultra Series Wiki, where we're going to have articles on that eventually. In any case, let's get on with some other size comparisons, mainly with maybe a Rider Hero series, because these are the same as Ultra Heroes. Just to get that out of the way, these are identical to the Ultra Hero series in terms of scale. It's just that my Ultra Heroes are actually on my shelf and I'm too lazy to go get it. And of course, as with any Hero series versus Kaiju series, this doesn't scale up well at all. Finally, let's try some miscellaneous Sculpt comparisons. First of all, let's try Apache-mon. We're going to try Heater. Looks awful because Heater goes by a 7-inch standard. Let's try some Ultra Monster 500s. Zeton. Nope. How about Dorako? Or that was Zeton too. How about Dorako? Nope. And how about the undersized weakling of the 500 series, Raycubus, because it is always undersized. It actually looks pretty good next to it. Raycubus, it's a huge kaiju, so it should be at least this big, but at this size it doesn't look too bad. Finally, let's try an Ultraact. Let's move Antimatter to this side because Gaia was fighting him like that, and of course I just spoiled it, it's Gaia, because Gaia squats. If we can get it to stand. Now this looks awful, mainly because Antimatter is way too small for this. And again, just to continue the stress, comments underfell over there. These things don't follow scales, so if anything, Antimatter should be about this big versus Gaia. But in any case, that's scaling for Antimatter. Not the best, and certainly not the worst, but nothing near good. Of course, but I said I don't judge these figures based on scale anyway, so what's the point? Overall, for the uniqueness of this figure and the fact that it's really high quality for 1998, I'm giving this thing a 4 out of 5. Articulation is lousy, but the sculpt and the paint job, in my opinion, more than makes up for it. The paint job is spectacular on this figure, mainly because it is so accurate in portraying the bizarre American flag colorations of the kaiju, and the actual sculpt itself looks really, really good. And you know, I can't comment on this thing enough. It's just a really, really well done figure. But yeah, if you guys can find this thing for under $15 with the tag and under $10 without one, I'd say pick it up. It's a really good deal. You'd be getting a really unique monster and the most dangerous of the Pestar variants, of which only includes Pester and this thing. I don't count Menjura from Ultra Antigo. But in any case, that's the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This thing is getting, again, a 4 out of 5 from me. If you guys can find it for under $15 with tag, under $10 without, that is a good deal. And I'll see you guys next time.